What's up, everybody? It's That Anime Show. As always, I am Terri Doty with...
As always, J. Michael Tatum.
As always. As always, as always.
As always. Always, always.
So you hear someone that hasn't been on the show before. I heard a little chuckle there. Yes.
I did. Who's in the room with us?
Micah Solusod. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Where?
He's all looking around like, where? Who is this guy you speak of?
What's up?
I just hear this pubescent kid.
He's so tiny. You should see him. He's like a foot
Picked him up
tall.
off the street. Look malnourished as shit.
Literally.
I told you not to leave out that bowl of milk for him. It keeps
You don't
coming
even
back.
live around here. How did you get here?
I'm sorry. Looking for kindness and mooching.
Will,
Boy, you came to the wrong place.
wearing a very poor, sign that will work for money. And we're like, well, it's good.
How I got it fundamentally.
and yet very nice shoes.
I stole them.
Aren't you made
I
it?
think we're being scammed.
Is that stage makeup? You're not homeless. You're...
Oh, you mean another set of...
He's researching a role.
I know.
Let's not even talk about lies. Why?
Well, I saw that. We were talking about it earlier. I mean, I don't watch Lost. Do you watch Lost, Micah?
No, I don't.
No. Okay, so
Both of you have saved yourselves a lot of time and trouble.
I watched the first 2 episodes, and my mom, I had to watch. It's so funny. It's like I've mentioned that I watched a bunch of BBC stuff, which I even fell into a bit there a second ago. That I even watched, but it's either that or like telenovelas and stuff like that. So when I got to the point where I'm like, no, we are watching Buffy, and if you have to watch something else, get another TV. Like my mom pays for everything, but I know, how to. I'm like, you would like it. David Boreanaz is cute, but like Lost came on, and we looked at each other, and it's very rare that we'll agree because I was still living with her at the time. She went.
Well, I wasn't the least bit interested in Lost when it first aired because it looked to me like another island show, and I'm like, and I don't watch a whole lot of television because there's just not a lot of shows that interest me. I'm such an old fart.
You've got any show that you've liked, you've gotten me into now.
Yeah. But most of the shows I like, I don't find them on television. I hear about them through other people, and I'll go and buy the DVDs. So I almost never discover stuff via television these days. It's so weird how that works. But I didn't watch any of Lost for 4 seasons. It was on for 4 years, and I never watched a single episode. Every time it was on, I just didn't watch it. I didn't care.
It was just recently that you...
because I have a bunch of friends who are into it. I mean, avidly into it, which always puzzled me because
and you're still
I'm
friends with them. So
I'm still friends with them. I love them as people. there's no accounting for taste, thank God. But they're all you run into these people that are just like, oh my God, Lost is the most revolutionary show on television, and they love it. And I will say it's not. To be perfectly objective, it is certainly not a horrible show. It's just not. After watching as much as I have watched finally, because the same friends got me to, you have to watch it. Oh my God, it's so good. I watched the first season thinking, oh, this is okay. This is interesting. It's going places I didn't expect. And by the second season, I was like, wow, actually, this is pretty damn good. Never would have seen this coming. Third season, I was out. By the third season, there's a scene where a character wards off a polar bear from a cave with hairspray and a match. I'm like, out, done, no longer watching this show. I'm sorry, it has now jumped the shark, or as I say, it has now burned the polar bear. And
it's now burned.
And so ever since then, I've watched it sporadically. I don't think I watched the rest of season 3, or no, I think I did watch the rest of season 3 just to see how ridiculous it got, and it got pretty ridiculous for my tastes. And then I watched some of season 4, and I don't think I watched any of season 5. And now that season 6 is on television, Joshua's totally into it and watches it. Even though he's still very skeptical, going, I don't know where this is going. I'm in for a penny, in for a pound. You might as well finish it. And I watch it with him now, and every time we finish, he's getting to that stage now where he's beginning to feel like this isn't working. He looks at me when we're done, and he's like,
commitment.
This isn't good. And I just look at him, I go, ha. Told you.
I was in the break room at the lovely Funny Building, which is awesome now that we have 2 microwaves in one section. I'm like, I don't have to go to the other side of the building to microwave my fucking cocoa. It's awesome. But at one point, I'm microwaving away, waving it up, as I do. And Brian, he used to do the podcast quickies or the Funimation little update quickies.
Yeah.
And Walter, who is hilarious, and Walter are just like, hey man, did you see Lost? And they look at me, and I wonder why I don't make more friends with the other sets, because I'm such an ass. Because they're like, hey, do you watch Lost? And I go, pfft. And they go, okay, so we can talk about it? I'm like, I mean, yeah. And so Walter's like, yeah, no, you know, like, can't believe they brought this chick back, and she's all, my baby, and blah, blah, blah. And I stopped him, you know, like I'm mixing my food around, and I went, I just want to let you know, you are really selling me on Lost right now. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm such a dick. But I'm like, no. And he kind of went like, I know it. This chick's just really bad. You wouldn't understand. I'm like, and I'm okay with that.
I've been hurt so many times by television. Television has lied to me so much. I don't trust it anymore.
I like I mean, there's some show. The last one that I was actually forced to watch. Like I was at my friend Sarah's place, and she'd been talking about Dexter, and I knew Michael C. Hall from 6 Feet Under, so I'm like, I kind of know him as that guy, you know. So I really don't see how this will work. But I also knew Julie Benz from Angel and Buffy, so I'm like, I've got the, you know, and the chick that plays the Huerta, she used to be in the show called, like, New York Undercover or something like that. It was
Yeah.
Which is funny, she has an identical twin. But
yeah, you told me that, and I'm like,
she's
I'm
on an
very
episode of
surprised
Doctor
by
Who,
that.
linked, boom. But
Boom.
one where she just points and goes, Espalda, but like that.
See, now I remember that. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's her twin.
I'm sorry. Link. But
You actually are. Terry is
So
like
I was
the
at
human
Sarah's-
IMDb.
I am.
She is. She can
It's really
make
weird. Like,
anybody.
even Aaron will be like, all right, link Travis Willingham to Christopher Walken. And it took me like 2 minutes, and he was like, son of a bitch. No, where's it going? But I was at Sarah's, and she's like, wait. And she gave me Dexter Season 1. I'm like, okay. And it sat on my television for 3 months. I'm like, not watching it. I'll hold it. And then I try to give it back to her, and she's like, so what'd you think? I'm like, it was good, lying. And she's like, what was your favorite part? And I'm like, okay, fuck.
part with the blood and the dying.
I didn't get around to watching it. She's like, well, then keep it till you do. And so, because I don't like holding on to DVDs that aren't mine, because I'll eventually forget, and then I'll be like, it's
that's
mine.
how I am.
And then I'll go to Movie Trading Company and get money off of it. But that's how I work. But
Friend moves away, and you're like, score. I
Sarah's
can
still
now
like,
get.
I'm still
I
waiting
can
on
now
the,
get
like, oh, I lost
$10
it.
for this complete Deadwood
I
set.
lost it, but no, I watched it and loved it. And that, like, the day I finished it, I bought all 3 seasons.
Wow. I like Dexter.
Yeah.
Well, we're up to season 4 now, right? Season 4
Well,
is just
season
what
4
ended,
is
what
just
ended, right?
ended,
And
yeah.
I didn't care for season 4 all that much. I liked parts of it. It wasn't as solid as the others.
You watched
have been.
Dexter?
No, I don't.
What do you watch?
What do you want? What television shows are you into?
Psych and White Collar.
I like Psych.
I don't know
I
either
haven't
of those
gotten
shows.
around to watching White Collar. I know that guy from Chuck. So
Yeah, it's fairly good. Yeah, since like Monk finished, I've been like,
Oh, is
what's
it
gonna
done?
fill that spot?
well, yeah, they just had like their final season.
Yeah, they just finished it, and
The
it's
show's been on for like what, 7 years now?
What?
Yeah,
right?
a long.
Wow.
I watched the
Tony
first
Shalhoub
season.
is good. He's good stuff.
Oh, he's good. He's good at
Yeah,
it.
he
That's the
really
only
is
reason
kind
I
of what
watched
made it. Yeah.
Wings. Well, that and
Wings
Lowell.
back in the day.
I loved Lowell. God, I'm old.
Do you remember his I don't know if it was his first film performance. It was the first thing I ever saw him in was the Bill Murray film Quick Change, where he's like, he and Gina Davis and I think it's Randy Quaid have all robbed a bank and they're trying to get to the airport, and it's just one thing after another happens to them and they can't get there. It's a quirky little low budget film that Bill Murray did like in the, I want to say late 80s, early 90s.
Okay, yeah, no, I haven't
And but he robs the bank, and this is poignant. He robs the bank in a clown outfit. Like he shows up as a
you
clown,
watched
and well, it's hilarious because
Okay, maybe
he's.
I have seen a bit of it because you know I love Bill Murray.
Yeah, and it's really funny because it's not a great movie, but there's a lot of great moments in it. And Tony Shalhoub plays this cab driver that they get in his cab like out of desperation at one point because their car is wrecked or something. One thing after another happens. And he can't speak English, and I don't know what he's supposed to be speaking, but all he keeps doing is like he'll say something
if
like
he did any accent, like it
he'll
would go. He's got one of those looks.
yeah, and he's doing something like he's saying I think the phrase is "Guardo," and they're like, okay, the airport. He's like, okay. And he turns around and he'll look at the other one like, you know, like he's not hearing what, and it's so funny because like Randy Quaid ends up jumping from the cab because he's like, he runs a red light and he's like, you don't even understand colors. And like he jumps from the cab and like takes out a newspaper stand. It's hilarious. And then Tony Shalhoub is like freaking out thinking he's killed this guy, and he ends up being this minor character that comes back, and he keeps going, Bluff Tony, to the cops played by Jason Robart and a group of other guys that are trying to track these bank robbers down before they get to the airport. And he ends up going, they end up interrogating this guy, Tony Shalhoub, and he keeps going, Bluff Tony, because he saw them get on a bus. And he's like, Bluff Tony. And after all this, they finally and Jason Robards has this great light bulb moment, which became a phrase I use all the time when I'm like, aha, see? He goes, they're on a Bluff Tony, and then cut away to them on the bus. And I'm like, so I do that all the time now. Like when I'm in the booth or something, if I have a slight revelation that I should have gotten like 30 minutes ago, I'll be like, oh, they're on a Bluff Tony.
I've been doing a lot of like Liz Lemon-y things with my like 30 Rock, where I'm just like, oh yeah, no, it's this much. I'm like, spit take, seriously? Or light bulb things, stuff like that. Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh my goodness, we have to talk about fan art this week.
Oh my God, we do.
You saw
you've seen
the
it?
drawing.
Okay. We have the best fans ever. Let me just say.
Donna Baker, Rick Cole, Benjamin Oscar, a.k.a. Silly Pants McGee.
Yes, yeah. Silly Pants McGee.
Eric Carraway, Jackie Carraway. If I'm forgetting you, Steve Yurko.
Yeah, Steve Yurko, yeah. Steve's my boy.
That's
I found
hilarious.
him.
You found him?
Yeah, well, he found me, actually. I should tell that story real quick.
He's mine now.
Why do you steal them all away from me?
I'm gonna just go the window.
Micah's like pretty shiny.
No, seriously, Micah, run. No, come back. It's okay. Here, juggle these beanbags. Juggle the beanbags!
Okay.
I had to use that. Come on, it's only 3. It should be easy.
I don't know how to juggle.
But no, Steve approached me. He waited like for an hour in my autograph line one of my autograph lines at Anime USA this year. One of them. I had like
You're so damn popular.
Not really. They had to give me 2 just so they make sure people would know.
Oh my God, it's J. Michael Tatum.
I don't want to go. I want to go. I'll go tomorrow. So they gave me 2 just to make sure that I wouldn't feel lonely.
Maybe Terri Doty will be at patch 1.
But he was. They do this unofficial One Piece podcast. This was in DC.
Okay.
And he and a bunch of guys do this thing called the Unofficial One Piece podcast.
I've been listening to it.
Yeah, it's a really fun show. I've actually been on there interviewing before.
I like it. One of them kind of sounds like an engineer that we have, and I'm like,
he really does, doesn't he? I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes, he totally does. But Steve comes up to me, and he had drawn this piece of fan art of all the 3 major characters that I've played in One Piece.
Well, hopefully
which
One
we
Piece.
yeah. Well, which I jokingly, a year and a half ago, when we were recording the last of the 3 finally and finishing up on that, because it was Inaru, Dalton, and Pearl. Mm-hmm. And they all 3 kind of vaguely resemble each other because they're all kind of big, broad-shouldered, lantern-jawed, and they've all got my voice. And so we started calling them the brothers in the booth, just kind of as a joke. Like this was the unwritten backstory that they all came from the same broken home or whatever and haven't seen each other in years. And it was just whatever. Well, he drew this picture of the 3 of them, and it was a really good picture. And it was the only thing he had for me to sign. And he felt bad because he thought I would think he was cheaping out by just go, here, can you sign this thing I just kind of threw together? And I was so excited to see it. I was like, oh my God, someone drew the picture of Inaru and Dalton and Pearl, and oh my God. And I think I scared him a little bit by how much I was fanboying out over this picture. And so I signed it.
Your fan.
And so after that, like ever since then, like he contacted me on MySpace or Facebook rather, and
what's MySpace?
I'm like, my book, my face, whatever.
Your face.
And you face. Who you facing?
FaceTube. But he contacted me and he got me on the show, and ever since then, like I
listened to it. You told me to like stop. I'm like, I'm listening to the show right now. You're like, stop.
Like stop,
I
please. I do because I ramble. I'm such a blah 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 blah.
Really?
No. And yeah, I know, right?
Hadn't noticed.
I know, right?
I saw that one coming. Boom.
Mike is like getting comfy. He's like, oh.
No, it's like, I gotta get out of the way. It's not even directed at me, and I know it's gonna hit me.
I hate you guys so much.
You don't hate us. You love us.
No, I love.
Yes.
I love the abuse. But the picture Steve drew was from a story I told him on the podcast, which was about Mike always coming up to me because Mike McFarlane loves to try to cure me of my phobia of clowns.
Dude, I know. What was it? It was
between her and Brina and
it was short.
or him
her?
and Brina.
Mike hides it well.
Something we don't know about Mike McFarlane.
But it was funny is we were at dinner and it had been a while because every now and again it's really hard to have dinner with Mike because what we do every Sunday is at least me, Tatum, Joshua, and Steven try to get together for dinner every Sunday, which is awesome. I love it. But occasionally, like Mike and Mike, but a good chunk of the time it's like Mike's like, I can't have to review.
He's so swamped with work that he just can't do it. And you feel bad for him.
But
he
finally
rescue him and be like, no, you're coming to eat. You have to eat something. Just come. Work will be waiting for you.
He was prepared this night. I mean, he's like very well rested. And he was like very like kooky and kept talking about clowns. And then he finally apparently whispered to Steven, he's like, I have this movie that I found. And I'm not sure if we should try to watch it tonight or like get a picture of it and like put it on the desktop so the next time Tatum comes in to record. Like I like move the script and he like flips out. I don't know. What do you think, man? Steven being the nice one. Like if Mike had asked me, I probably would have been like, I don't know, is there a way we can do both? But I wouldn't have, honestly.
Yeah, you would have.
No.
Don't even lie.
No, I have not scared you once in the almost 2 years you and I have been friends.
You've scared me plenty of times, just not.
Well, yeah, but like my outfits weren't like meant to be scary. It's just, Mike just owned up to it because Steven was like, dude, like everyone bugs him about it. Just tell him like, hey, like look, I found this and see how you're at. And the movie is called Fear of Clowns. And it's about a serial killer clown.
And we watched it. We watched it. And it
that
actually
was not a terrifying clown.
No, it was not I was laughing the whole time. It was actually a funny clown. I thought, well, this is curing me because this clown isn't scary at all. And it was a funny movie because it was so bad. It was funny. We were laughing because it was just
really
so
bad.
Badly filmed, badly conceived.
It was obviously all shot in the same like trailer house.
Yeah, every set was like a room of this trailer house. Nothing wrong with that, but it's just like, oh, dude, I can see that all you did was move that clock on the wall or put different books on the shelves.
They shot like Grandma was out of town.
Yeah, it's totally a granny trailer.
And it's also
it's
Fear
with the lace
Clowns
curtains and like little kitten, prints on the wall. It's ridiculous, but
I saw Tara's drawing of Brina dressed in the clown outfit, and I was like, awesome!
That's a great picture.
But I think it's gotten to the point where like people are bugging you about it so much that it's kind of dissolving the effect it's having.
Yeah, I'm kind of not as afraid of clowns anymore now because of that. So thank you all, I should say, for the therapeutic effect that your artist had on me.
I will say that we got a lot this week. It was like every day. Like I'm tagged in a new picture. Sweet.
Oh, there's some great stuff
the
too.
greatest. It came out yesterday. Was the Caraway sisters are like in full force this week. Let me tell you, because I saw like their drawing of you, Micah, with me and Tatum on each side, and of course everyone going like Terry's the angel, and I'm like, that's so not funny.
It is funny.
It's hilarious because I was just like, okay. But then like Tara, I think it was Tara that explained like, hey, there are dark angels, there are death angels, and I'm like, ha, see.
Well, there you go.
But
I would still be a very ineffectual
my favorite one came yesterday. I will say my favorite one. It's like every day it's like a new thing because we got a lot of attention yesterday because Benjamin Oscar posted.
Wasn't that awesome?
That awesome poster in his little fan video, and I'm like, oh, he's so cute.
I'm gonna watch that, by the way, every time I need a little pick me up or I'm having a bad day. I'm gonna watch that video and be like, that's right.
I want that poster. I want that poster. If I ever get to a con near him, I want him. I will pay for his gas if he goes. I will pay for, like if I'm anywhere near the Pennsylvania area, drive, and I will reimburse you for gas.
Oh, and you said it here, folks.
And yes, I'll do it. Just for Benjamin, though. Everyone else just come see me and I'll sign stuff. But I'll take pictures. It'll be nice. But
It'll be Terry Con. Why? Because you're paying for everybody.
Yes.
I want to sign that poster, and I
me
want to
too.
frame it. I want to awesome. But the
awesome.
potato.
The potato thing. That was hilarious. Like, I saw the pictures both kind of like on the same day.
I love your
and
hairstyle.
I know. They've totally got the hairstyle down to like a science
I like
now.
my drawing hair better than my actual hair.
And, your hair is beautiful, sweetie. You have nothing to... It's not a competition. Don't worry. But... I mean, with your drawing, not that you would ever compete
with
for
you?
beautiful hair from me, because I decidedly do not have beautiful hair. Whatever. Well, how do we...
Digging a hole.
digging a hole.
Not to say that
Potatoes. Yes, but I saw the one where it's like just me as a potato. I laughed my ass off, and then I saw like directly after that I see the one where like
all I
you're
saw
chopping me into bits. I'm like,
I saw
what's happening?
this little picture, like, you've been tagged in a photo, and I click it, and I'm like, oh, I'm holding a knife. That's appropriate. But,
I've been on the end that many times.
and of course, in the first one, I'm like, I'm so cute. I'm like, God, I'm such an ass. But I'm like, I'm much more adorable in drawing form, I think.
I disagree. I think you are
disagree, too.
equally adorable, or
Yes.
more so in
Minus the knife.
person. Because the drawing is as good as it is. You're really one of those people you have to see in action. You're very animated.
I am.
And you're very. I mean, am I right?
guess.
Yes,
Am I
you're
right?
correct, yes.
I
I just realized nodding doesn't translate well with sound, so...
I do that occasionally. I'm like, so she's all like, and there's like nothing but dead air as I'm making this stupid face. So I like make
you
the
can
sound
only
for it
see
too.
the faces she makes.
Or no,
That's
like
the
well,
limit.
Bevins gave me that tip, and he's like, so I don't know, to get kind of better at like reactions, which I think I'm much better at than dialogue. I'm like, you need like a mute to fight, or like maybe someone that's very selective about their words. You right here, but because I can totally blow up a building and just be like, but if it's just like, that's right, you knew what was gonna happen.
Killed my family.
You killed my family, you bastard.
Hired.
Hired.
Just check. Done.
Double check.
The rest of you can go home.
Now that had nothing to do with Romeo and Juliet, but good job.
Well, that's great if we were telling a very modern rendition of the story where there were guns and Juliet was like,
And narwhals.
But Bevins was, it was when I was still interning with him, and he used to like, just react to everything in your day-to-day life. But now I can't turn it off. Like, I get out of the shower, and like I put the towel on my face, and I go, and then I go like, as I put the towel away, and I sit down and go, get up. Backhand.
It's funny, isn't it?
Open mouth react? What?
What? Clenched teeth, more clenched teeth.
Now, here's the thing. Do you ever find yourself in real life doing it again? Because you felt like, oh, that wasn't enough.
Yeah,
There
I
wasn't,
do.
There wasn't enough signal on that reaction. So, like, in real life, you go, No,
Well,
I knew that.
everybody does that. Like, when you say a joke, but people are still laughing at the last, like, joke that someone said, so you say it again, and then you get the inevitable, like, dude, we heard you.
Oh, yes.
Well, I just want to make sure
Wow, I'm
everybody...
embarrassed for you.
So, Mr. Solusod, am I pronouncing that correctly?
It's good enough.
Why not?
Yes.
I get Doty a lot, and I'm like, sure. And they're like, no, tell me how to pronounce it. I'm
Tatum.
like,
How
no.
do you pronounce your last name?
Solusod.
Solusod. Okay, so we.
I've had like Solusod show you. I don't know why. Yeah.
Well,
So
have you gotten people that correct, and they're like, no, like, if it was Solusod. I'm like, no, it's pretty cut and clear. What?
Rarely.
Okay.
More in Texas, oddly enough. They've gotten it right. And
That's got to be a first.
So, take that, other states. We said something right.
Yeah.
For once.
We do pronounce things bigger in Texas, I guess. I don't know.
Woot.
what?
Yeehaw, y'all.
That was the weirdest
Y'all.
thing. Is I went to like a financial advisor today. Like I it's so weird, talking about. They're like, so what about your retirement? And me and Steven are like, we want to retire.
And live for a while
And
afterwards,
so he was very
please.
eloquent and very like blah blah blah. But then all of a sudden he was just like, well, y'all want to blah blah blah. And I went, you ruined it. You ruined it. You ruined it. You're still cute.
I do this all the time because I don't really have much of an accent. Except when I'm either drunk or really angry, and usually when I'm
You
drunk.
more English when you're drunk.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, because I like gin and tonics, and I guess that just kind of.
And you hold it a certain way. You're like,
and I
well,
hold
you
it
get
like this,
very
and I'm like,
Peter O'Toole about it.
I do. That's I'm like, give me a camel.
Peter
I want to
O'Toole
ride in on a
in
camel.
high spirits. There you go.
Oh, that movie
Anyway,
is terrible. But he's
it
funny.
was on earlier. So.
Really, I haven't seen it in years. But
Yes.
what was I saying? Oh yeah, no, I don't have much of an accent because I had a speech impediment when I was very young, and it lasted for quite a while, and I didn't speak a lot because it was that bad of a speech impediment. There are people that shut up, just stop,
Yeah.
please stop talking. Which
I had a
they
stutter.
do now. They do now,
And
but
a
for
lisp.
very different reasons. But so I actually had a British lady as a speech coach for like 4 or 5 years or something like that. And so I just kind of lost any trace of an accent because of it. And it's really funny because everyone else in my family, they're not like, hey, what you doing? But you can tell they're from Texas. There's that sort of See, I can't even do a convincing Texas accent unless I'm angry and I'm not thinking about it. Because the redneck comes out when it's like.
Shit out of Steven. It really does.
Well, my redneck voice scares the shit out of Joshua.
Well, you're a little scary. So
I'm a little scary already. I don't need much help, but it's funny because I don't have that accent, but I will still use the vernacular. So I'll say things like y'all or fixin'ta, which is a big fixin'ta. Have you heard it a lot? I mean,
Well,
since
see,
you
the
moved down
beauty
here.
of it is, you're from Texas.
Yes.
I'm not from Texas, so it's funny. They're like, I have not lived. Okay, I'm from Pennsylvania. Then I lived in Virginia, then California, and now I live here. And most of my life has been spent in Texas, but still, occasionally, even like in high school, they were like, "Where are you from?" I'm like, "Well, I live in Arlington at the time." And they're like, "No, like where are you? Like where do you hail from?" I'm like,
Hail from.
Philadelphia. They're like, totally makes sense. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? like I'm emphasizing. I'm like, going, what the fuck does that mean?
Like that just sums up everything about you nicely.
But see, Micah is from, or you're originally from Hawaii.
Yeah, I'm from
yes.
Hawaii. And I have.
Now, what was that like moving here? Like, because was that quite a was that quite a culture shock for you?
When you're from the island that's called the Garden Island, and you come to Texas, and it's like, oh gosh. Yeah, for months I was actually like really. I just wanted to go home. I could not stand it, and
homesickness.
Such a big change. But
That is a huge change.
Now it's like I'm ready for not anything. I wasn't ready for New York. No.
Oh, the con in New York?
Yeah, we went there. I was like, is this Gotham City?
That was when they first announced Soul Eater, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, yes.
Well, I remember reading a bunch about it because, you're, I would say that even though, like, I used you randomly in a Big Wind-Up because I kind of went off Tatum's recommendation and was going off of someone else's recommendation. And so I just seen you sitting, like, around you.
Lounging around.
Yeah, I'm like, who is this guy?
I'm homeless.
And then he finally got called in, but I was reading a lot of stuff. They thought that it was Johnny Youngbosh.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
But I'm like, I guess I can hear it, but I've heard Johnny and things, and I've never used him. I've used Micah, so if anything, it's me. Well, the last time Johnny was in town, like, I've never met him, I was going to be like,
I actually did meet him. And
You did?
It wasn't in Funimation. It was in the mall.
so if I was blind, I'd be like, why
really?
are you answering yourself? Why?
So so you have met him.
It was weird because it was like we were walking through the mall, and I was like on my lunch break and whatever, and all of a sudden I hear Micah. I'm like, oh no, no, I'm not prepared for this. What's going on? And then I see Bevins, and he's like waving me down, and I see some guy with a beanie and everything. I'm like, that looks like almost like my beanie. And I look close, I'm like, it's Johnny Youngbosh.
And then Huddies came out of nowhere.
Well, it's like I didn't know what to do because part of me was fanboying, but at the other time it was like, I gotta stay cool.
Yeah. I've had
I hate that.
What do I do?
I've had that happen many, many times where
Steve Bloom.
I meet Steve Bloom.
Really?
I got to meet. Well, I kind of had a similar experience when I met Johnny Youngbosh for the first time because I've been a big fan of his work for a long time, and I only met him this past year at Anime Fest.
I haven't met him. He was like,
And
he was right next to me, but I was like trying to play it cool, like reading a book. But the thing is I don't know about you, Micah, and I know for sure, but I'm a Power Rangers dork. So, like, I'm just like, and so I made, like, Steven look, and he's like, it's kind of small. And I'm like, for me, yeah, but... And I'm like, I'm just pretending to read Frankenstein here. Already read this.
I've been reading this same passage for 8 minutes. No, I met him at Anime Fest, and he's a really cool guy. I mean, I didn't have a chance to sit and talk with him or get to know him all that well.
Really?
But, I guess Bevins was sitting talking with him. It's kind of the opposite of what happened with you. I'd come over because I saw Bevins. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And there's Johnny on Bosch, and I'm like waiting for Bevins to introduce us, but Bevins had assumed that we'd met years ago, and so when I was like, you're going to introduce me? He's like, oh, you don't know each other? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my God. So he introduced us, and I was trying really hard to but Johnny totally was like, hey, cool to meet you, man.
Yeah.
Nice, great job and everything. And I'm like, thank you. And then I kind of walk out. I'm like, I'm going to leave now before he thinks I'm just like...
Yeah, I told myself I can either say a lot and say something stupid, or I can just stay cool and just be like...
And say only one stupid thing.
Yeah, and just be like, I mean, I'm sorry, man. Hello. Oh, sorry.
That's so funny. That's so funny getting to meet...
well, I mean,
the voices you've heard,
Funimation itself is like seeing people walk by, like you, getting to work with you, it's just like...
It's so funny how nervous he gets. I'm like, that's because it was totally... I guess for me, when I started in this business, I was kind of thrust into it and didn't really know what to expect, but I didn't know anybody. I wasn't familiar with anybody's work, really, so I only got to know them as... I got to know most of the people up at Funimation as friends and people first before I'm like, oh, you're also really badass. I mean, there are a couple exceptions. Like, I was familiar with Greg Ayers' work and Chris Ayers' work.
And
so
Bruce.
And Bruce, of course. So getting to meet them for the first time was like, hi, but a lot of other people, I just got to know up there. It was really funny, but how can meet you for the first time and going, oh, he's so nervous. Why is he so nervous? You're in the building. You're one of us now. We're fine.
I don't get starstruck very easily, but I don't know. No, there's been no one that I'm like...
I can't, no.
I think Johnny would probably be
weird. Like, I remember specifically, like, a year ago, popping in a DVD and being like, hearing everybody's voices, and then, going in and just seeing, all the people that you look up to, and it's just like...
What's up, man?
They're like, hey, what's up? I'm like, meeting Chris Sabat, I'm like... And he's like, oh, I heard you in Soul Eater. I'm like, eh.
I didn't realize, because it's a job, to us. So especially when you're around people that like what you do, or they're just friends with you. I was making, the invite list for the wedding, which it was just us hanging out at Zombie Manor. And
best reception ever.
I think so.
It was. I got accosted by zombies the whole night.
And clowns. And undead clowns. But I'm like, I'm sorry, I tried to get him to cover them up. And so everyone
kept tapping on my shoulder going, hey, look at that clown up there. Shut up, leave me alone, leave me alone.
But it was really weird. I was talking to, I do like little indie films and stuff like that with my friend Ryan. And Ryan, I was just like, well, blah, blah, blah. And I really feel the need to emphasize this, but can you please not dork out? I don't want you to ask anybody about what they've done or anything. It's a wedding reception. Don't treat it like a meet and greet. And he's like, well, I don't even know who's going to be there. Who's going to be there? And I went, and I went, Mike McFarlane. He's like, Mike McFarlane?
You're like, no. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You are not invited.
And he's like, no, sorry, who else, might I know? Who else might I know? I'm like, Sabat's going to try to come. And he's like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, I will uninvite you right now.
And you're like, J. Michael Tatum is like, who? Oh, I can do this. I'm totally cool with it. Yeah.
Balls, the holes where you can reach enough, but not too much. Containment unit,
I just forget about that stuff. I don't know.
It's so funny. It's so funny. So
We've gotten some. Okay, I've got to mention this.
Oh no.
Can we get donuts after this from Soy Milk? Someone that is in the room.
Someone is in the room.
Really?
Happens to be very good at baking things.
And oh my god, that's how I met her. She just brought like a red velvet cupcake. I'm like, I don't know who you are, but we're friends.
She's committed
now.
to getting me
We're friends
back.
now.
We're friends now.
Like, here, we brought you an apple
She's
pie.
like still
Here, it's your
introducing herself,
birthday.
and
I
I'm
brought
like
you a
halfway through the
cake. I'm like,
cupcake. I'm like,
really? From me? Oh my god!
Every time we had food, I mean, it was like every time we bring food, you just pop out of nowhere, just around the corner, and I'm like,
I am totally not. It's
Hey,
not
is
my
that
design. I'm like, ooh. Food. I
you're in the middle of
smell.
recording, like, hold on a second, throw out the headphones.
Hold on, I smell strudel. And I'll be back, everyone. And I have to go out and I have to act like, oh no, I couldn't possibly. Thank you.
No, I didn't even do that. She's like, hi, I'm like,
You're like, hi, thank you anymore.
good meeting you, cupcake lady.
Cupcake lady.
I love you,
to be
cupcake.
fair, in answer to your question, yes, we can.
Yay.
Yay! That's the real reason we have you over.
You better get to cooking.
No, it's one of them.
Okay, so this is from Terra Terrific.
Terra Terrific.
But okay, so she has it set a particular way, but I'll go ahead and add on to it and then ask. It's a great little. Okay, so you moved here from Hawaii, almost I would guess on a whim. It would seem like just very much because of the prospect of getting voice work.
Because there's possibility of me getting work.
Why did you want to become a voice actor?
Well, I'm very shy, and acting on stage is kind of like I did a bit of it, and it was fun. But I've always been like forcing that shaking out of just down. And voice acting was easier because no one can see me shaking behind a mic.
I don't want them to hear me shaking.
Yeah, it's like my hand's shaking, but my throat's not. So and it was just very appealing for some reason. I found it to be a lot more, in a way, laid back, but I was able to do what I like without having that sort of like handicap in a way in my acting. So yeah,
I hear that from a lot of people. I love voice acting better. I mean, I've done theater and film and stuff voice acting is so much more freeing. And, like we've discussed before, we're not limited in who we can play.
That's true, yeah, because, obviously.
Well, you've already, and I think the very first major role you played by the end of that, and I'm referring to Moloch in Blast Rider. By the end of that, the character was like, what, 2 or 3 years older than you are, actually?
Tyler was telling me, can you sound older? I'm like, how do I sound older? I don't know what older sounds like with my voice, but
you pulled it off, and it's great because that you have the freedom to do that as a voice actor
exactly.
if you know how to use your voice correctly.
Same Moloch, he was voiced by a woman in the Japanese, so it was like, I guess I can do this.
It's really funny. A quick aside on that because Tyler and I worked very hard on that show. He directing it, of course, and I wrote quite a bit of it.
Yes.
And had the chance to. And I'm in it. Yes, I'm in it.
I coma twice.
That's right. Well, you had it coming. Told you to leave. No, you. But we were really. I'm very very proud of the finished product on that show, and I think it's some of my best work as a writer. I think
that last scene was fantastic.
You would have freaking just fits about how awesome you thought the show was.
I really did because I got
Before
into
you even
it,
went into the
and I
booth,
thought
talking to me about it.
I'm so pleased with how this shaped up, and Tyler really liked it, which was the more important thing was Tyler. The show's director liked it, so I'm like, oh thank God, and he gets it, and I love working with Tyler. But it was really funny because for the longest time, I remember, Tyler, being that I was writing the show, and this is before he cast me as Argian, because Argian doesn't even really show up until about halfway through, and I was like, I don't think I'd even written any of him yet by the audition phase. And Tyler would kind of ask me, like, well, and I think he asked this of a lot of writers, like, who do you have in mind for this part, or who are you hearing in your head? Because that always happens, because it kind of helps him decide who to get into audition. And I told him, like, the one part that stumped me was Moloch. I was like, I really don't hear anybody for this role that I know. I'm like, I can't imagine who this will be. I mean, I know in the Japanese it's played by a woman, but I don't know that will play well because he's not quite young enough to be a little boy that most of our wonderful female actresses can get away with doing quite well. Yeah. But he's not old enough that any of our normal suspects can young their voice down enough and not sound young enough. And so he just kind of, and it was kind of, that's where I left it. And then I think when I finally, it was, I got the part of Zargi, and because Tyler came up to me, he's like, all right, so who would you cast as this guy? And I'm like, who do you think? I'm not saying that I, wrote it for me, but I'm just saying, I wrote it for me. And he was funny because it was totally funny, and I feel like such a shit for saying that. But I'm like, I just got the character, and I'm like, I really like this character, and I kind of teased out some subtext that wasn't.
That was the one character I had a problem with.
And but it was funny. So when I finally came in to record, his first scene is with Moloch.
Yes.
Really. And I'm like, and I'm hearing this voice, and I turned to him, I'm like, who the fuck is that? I'm like, who is that? I'm like, that's good. I do that, especially on shows like that Tyler directs, because Tyler loves to try new people out. And so I hear a lot of new people on Tyler's shows. He likes to use the old standbys, the usual suspects, but he'll get in a bunch of like shows like Bacano. Like when I heard Joel the first time, I'm like, who the fuck is there? So every time I'm in the booth with Tyler, it seems I have a who the fuck is this moment, and it's not like, who is this? I need to track them down. They must be destroyed before they become a threat. No, it's not that. I mean, I'm really delighted to hear new people and see, hear someone that obviously is very, very good at what they do that I've just never been aware of, because I'm always looking for, who's going to be this? And he was like, oh, it's this. And when he told me it was you, I was like, oh, I know him. I used him and Terri and I used him on Big Wind Up and stuff, and I was so pleased, and you do such a good job in that show. But before we go any further into that,
and I will say that we've been doing a theme here on That Anime Show, talking about a show that we can't talk about. Never saying it by name, but Micah is in that.
Yes.
Yes. And we're very happy about that.
Show that must not be named.
Yes, ever. Like, even when it's announced, we'll be like, no!
No, we can't. Oh, we can talk. We're going to be so.
Something else.
But I will say, just directing you, in that show, and even, the stuff we had to do on Big Wind Up, I was so impressed by just how natural you were at it. I mean, it's and he's all shy and looking down and twiddling his thumbs. And look at him, he's so new. He can't even take a compliment yet. It's great. It's cute, but
you get used to it.
I still do that.
I'm still waiting for my compliment. It's like, hey, you showed up. I'm like, yeah, I did.
One of the Funimation titles.
Oh yeah, I showed up.
But no, I was really impressed by that. I mean, I can tell, you're being someone who at the time, at least from where I was standing, was completely new to this. You sounded like you've been a seasoned actor. I mean, you really do natural. I mean, I guess my question is to kind of build on the question of what made you want to become a voice actor. What made you want to become an actor in general? I mean, what kind of drew you to it? I mean, you mentioned that you're a little bit shy, and you are. Do you think the shyness is part of it? That maybe the acting allows you to explore things that you're...
The mask.
My cousin always used, I was very animated as a kid, because, cartoons, what are you going to do, right?
Oh, yeah.
And always, overreacting and whatever, and she always told me this, and I always told her, you're wrong. But she's always like, you're gonna... Every time she's teasing me, she's like, you're gonna practice for your speech? And, holding up the award and everything. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna be an actor.
Cut to boom.
About 18 years later.
How old were you guys when you had this conversation?
I was just a genius at 1
years old, fully articulate.
How old are you?
Count of how
You're
old
19?
I'm 19.
My God.
Yes.
Don't you feel old?
I feel very old.
I'm sorry.
I feel like we're a Matryoshka doll, and I'm the outermost one. I'm the one that gets all the dust.
Telling you. But, anyways, you were saying... Or are you done with your question? I'm looking at you.
Oh, you're looking at me, and I'm looking down at the other fan questions. I guess. So you wanted to become an actor?
Yeah, because I was animated and everything. It actually started with one of my friends saying, why don't we try this summer program because we got nothing else to do. And he was doing it for the first part, and he's like, why don't you just try it? And I'm like, okay. And I really, really liked it. And
so, with it.
Yeah, I just couldn't get enough, and started doing church plays and stuff.
And then here you are.
I don't know. We've spoken about, Tatum and I talk a lot. If you haven't noticed, About just everybody up there. Like, we never talk shit. I mean, even if we do, it's like, I will say this to your face if you want me to. Like we were saying, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I will just also be saying it in addition to when I said it to your face with Tatum. Because he's my confidant. But we brought up on several occasions that moving here, I have the most respect for you, because I just don't think I would have ever had the guts to just move here.
I didn't think I had the guts either. I mean, to me, it was...
So as shy as you are, that's pretty damn ballsy.
Well, because,
it's incredibly ballsy.
At the time, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And, you're at that crossroads, just finished high school, you're in college, and you're like, I'm in college.
You were finishing up, high school, at first, when you first started here, weren't you?
No, I was in college. Yeah.
Okay.
And I just, I was like, which road do I want to go down? And then this door opened. I'm like, should I just go for it? And I said, why not? I mean, seriously, what if I got to lose? And what if I regret it? What if this could be something?
I'm young.
Yeah, you're young enough that you can build on that regret and make something out of it. Which is. But again, it's so ballsy in a lot of ways, and I want to make this point because it's you are so the exception to the rule in so many cases. Because but that's a good thing. I mean, I'm kind of in a similar position in that I got into this by accident almost, or certainly not by design, and I found that I enjoyed it, and then I decided to stay in it. But I would have never
because I stalked just
Well, yours is the usual case. You worked for this, you wanted this, and then you got. I mean, not that everyone should. I mean, but most people that get into this have a plan, have an idea, and they set out and they work their butts off, and they get there, or they don't, But it's the product of work. In my case, it was kind of finding it, being compelled to do it. When I was younger, and then giving up on it because I couldn't see. I chose a different path, and then when I found it again later, going, oh yeah, I did have fun acting when I was younger, and what the hell? And then totally accidentally, and now working my butt off to kind of stay with it, I guess, because I kind of feel like, oh my god, I feel like I got lucky, I guess luck has a lot to do with it. But in your case, if people ever ask me, when I go to cons and we all get asked, how do you become a voice actor? How do you get in this industry? I always tell people, you do have to kind of be where the action is, because we're not going to give parts to someone that lives so far out of town, because it just doesn't work that way. You come in for 2 or 3 hours at a time, and it's not going to be worth it for you to fly all the way, in your case, from Hawaii to do a 2-hour bit that you may not, God, that's not going to pay for your plane ticket,
It's not even worth it,
But you did it.
But you did it, and it's funny because I would never tell anyone to actually move that far on the off chance of getting voice work because it's incredibly reckless. But it panned out for you beautifully. So
that's the thing. That's the risk that I think a lot of people don't realize. Is they say, oh, I want to be like you, just move there, but it's like. There was no guarantee that I was actually going to get work. Funimation doesn't promise anything.
No.
Mm-hmm. And so I was just.
No, I still haven't gotten my damn candy bar.
Maybe that's the one that got stuck in the machine and was supposed to give it to you, but I ended up giving it to Tatum.
Candy bar.
Oh, that was your candy bar?
You son of a bitch.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, okay, so shall we have another question?
We shall.
Another question?
Yes.
Let's see, let me choose one. We'll have to get to that one later.
Hello, baby. Hello, mom.
I'll tell you now just because Kaji, I think, is the name.
Also
Jackie. Yes.
Jackie. Oh, that's cute. That sounded so condescending.
It did,
that's so.
I'm sure that is so
cute.
Jackie.
Oh my god. But she would really like to hear you sing. And we've had everyone sing. Can you sing, by the way? Can you sing?
No. We haven't had everyone sing.
We haven't had everyone sing.
But we do a tit for tat thing. Is if you sing, we will embarrass ourselves as well.
Yeah.
I can sing, but not well. It's not gonna happen.
Okay.
I was thinking of actually doing some sort of thing for Christmas, but I was obviously not in time. So maybe next Christmas. Maybe.
So no singing. No.
As of yet, no.
Fine.
Sorry.
Tatum did Row 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 Your Boat last week, so
Oh yeah, it was terrible. I cannot say really to save my life.
I thought about it later. I'm like, oh, I should have done something else.
You did Captain Planet, which was hilarious.
Yes.
Far better than my row, row, row your boat. I'm just gonna sing in gibberish and tell everyone it's opera.
I do love classical. You could do like Andante or something like that.
That's not a piece of music. That's an instruction.
No, that's Vivaldi.
The Andante?
Suck it. Yeah.
Well, yes, but it's not the title of the piece. It's just the instruction.
No, it's one of them.
Well,
it is a title piece, but it's a vocalization.
It's become the title
name
of the piece.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Never mind.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'll track. Sorry, never bring up classical music around me, ever.
No, I forget.
I'm such a nerd. Oh, that's my big nerd thing is classical music. It's like, no, it's not sonata form. I don't care what anybody says.
Okay.
The recap was in a different key. It's not sonata.
Okay, all right. Speaking of snobs, or it might be actually Kaji might be somebody else because Jackie's down here as well. This is for everybody. And are you a big reader? And if so, what is your favorite book?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yes.
Not as much now. I've been trying to get back into it.
Well, you've been a very busy man.
Yeah.
Busy.
Busy counting the tiles on my ceiling. Yeah, like I don't know. Recently, I've been trying to read. I'm in the middle of reading Howl's Moving Castle.
I'm actually in the middle of reading that right now. Yeah,
I'm enjoying it.
I love it. I watched the film recently, like about 6 or 7 months ago. I finally got around to just buying it and watching it, and it's a beautiful film.
It is.
A lot of differences between the book and the film, but
I was very confused. I noticed that you have to have read the book to understand a lot of like things that were subtly hinted at that weren't fully explained, and I'm like, that explains a lot.
Well, and Miyazaki takes some liberties with it and makes it more about sort of an anti-war film, as he does,
yes,
but it was, from what I understand, the author was so pleased with the final result, she didn't care a lick that it departed from her story as much as it did. She was like, this is a beautiful piece of work, and I'm pleased to be
Mm-hmm.
associated with it in any way, shape, or form, which is great. But they're both on their own; they stand alone both very well.
Yes.
I love the book. I think the book is gorgeous, and I think everyone should read it. It's
so much fun.
Nah.
Yeah, it's a
I
beautiful
have no
book.
desire to read it.
Be that way then. You might want to. You might give the film a get. The film is beautiful. The film is really, really gorgeous. But
you know me. It's really hard to to go off a recommendation because
I know.
Okay, don't do it. Just don't. Whatever you do, don't.
You know what? Maybe I will.
even if I did watch several movies on your recommendation and liked them very much, but that's okay. This is not need to.
Okay,
reciprocity is not a condition.
Okay, yeah. I do go off of Tatum recommendations, and I go off Steven recommendations. I do go off recommendation, but if it's like chick like checking me out at the cash register and she sees me wearing like a Night of the Living Dead hoodie, she's like, "You should read blah blah blah." I'm like, "Cause you know me. You know me." Maybe I'll read it. My favorite book is obviously.
Or at least see the film. The film was really good.
I'll see the film, and the film
gorgeous.
usually will inspire me.
And the film might inspire you. Yeah, it's kind of how
But
I
okay,
do it.
I've got two. Like House of Leaves is one of my favorite books. But seriously, because I'm such a geek, Zombie Survival Guide by Max Brooks. I even went to a Max Brooks zombie survival workshop where he talked to college students about how to seriously survive a zombie holocaust. And I had my book signed and everything, and it got to the point where I'm just like, look, Max Brooks' son. And all that stuff. But it was Mel Brooks' son. But yeah, no, it's probably Zombie Survival Guide. So yeah, you.
I'm a big reader. I read all the time.
You have a library.
I have a pretty big library. I grew up around books, and so because I was a very awkward child, and so I spent a lot of time reading to sort of while away the hours, and I still do that, but. It's hard to pick favorite books. I think the most influential books for me have been, of course, the works of Shakespeare, but that's almost too easy.
Shakespeare.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're right. There's another syllable in his name. But one of my favorite books, and it's difficult to recommend because it will take years of your life to read. I don't care who you are. Is well, yeah, Green Eggs and Ham. Still almost to the end. Finally, that one. Been reading that since Reading Rainbow recommended it to me back in 1982. But. No, but actually one of my favorite books is by an author by the name of Marcel Proust, who's a French author writing at the turn of the 20th century, and he wrote a book variously called Remembrance of Things Past or In Search of Lost Time, depending on the translation. And it is a huge multi-volume work. It is something at like 14 million words, and wow. It's very dense, but it is just one of the most psychologically searing and just gratifying works I've ever read. Just his insight into what makes people and how they act and what they do. It's gorgeous, and it's such an epic story told in such a small way, I should think, or rather reverse that. It's such a small story told in such an epic way that it's really, it starts with a guy just sort of being, middle-aged, and he dips a little Madeleine cookie into a cup of tea, and just the smell, the aroma, the taste takes him back to being a child, and he sort of relives in these vivid memories of his whole life and all the various people that he knew when he was a child and what he now knows of them, and that kind of going back and in retrospect sort of editing his memory. It's hard to explain that book. You cannot sum up Proust, but that's one of my favorite books, actually, and I actually have been rereading that again for the first time in a couple of years, because I take a stab at it probably once every 4 or 5 years to read it, because it took me about 2 years to get through the whole thing the first time, and that was reading nothing else. It is
for most books that I like.
Huge
I don't
book.
feel like I need to rush into it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I hate borrowing books.
I've read it. Yeah, same here. But I've probably read it about 4 times now, all the way through since I was a kid.
Nice.
And it's still every time I read it, I feel like I'm reading a new book. I'm like, I know this story, but this is totally different. And and I've read like different translations of it and stuff. That's what got me into French, actually. It was because I wanted to read the original French, so that's why I took French in high school. So because I wanted to go back and read it, and yeah. So.
There are just so many books that I just don't have that I had at one point, but when I got like super broke in college, like I sold all of my books.
I went.
But now I'm like trying to recollect them.
That's what I've been
I don't
doing,
remember
actually.
half of them. But,
it's hard, man. I grew up with tons of. I mean, the library I have now represents maybe a fraction of the library I grew up that I had access to.
Anytime I take a friend over to your place, I make them look at all your books and be like, ah!
Books everywhere.
You have more questions?
I do. I like this one. This comes from Rick Cole, who asks. Oh, wait. Hang on.
Oh, no, you're giggling. That means...
Wait, I'm sorry. No, my bad. That's another question I will say, because that's for me. But...
Give me that.
Hang on. Where was it? Where did it go?
You were so old.
It was a character. Somebody wanted him to speak. I'm like, where is it? I can't see with my glasses.
All right, so while you're looking...
It was please, you ask something now, because now I feel embarrassed.
Okay, we have a fan comment from Ben saying, loved the Black Star Old Soul scene in Soul Eater. Micah, your voice was freaking hilarious.
Thank you.
I watched the first 4 episodes. I need to see the rest. I got kind of caught up in it, which is nice. I love when that happens, because usually, especially whenever we haven't worked on it, sometimes it's really hard to watch stuff that we haven't worked on, because it's like, no, I need to do research for stuff that I am working on.
Yes.
But I got a little caught up on it, so that's cool. But let me see. What does your family think of what's been going on?
They think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely different from anything that has been happening, because my family's in Hawaii, and none of this kind of stuff really happens, and there's not much opportunity for acting or branching out into media sort of stuff in Hawaii. So they're pretty stoked. They're pretty excited. And they're like, oh my gosh! I remember my grandmother called me. He's like, yeah, your uncle. My uncle's a detective, and so he checks up on his family by typing in their name and everything, and seeing if did something bad happen. And it's like, his name's all over the place. It's like, what happened? Did he do something? So, yeah.
What's Anime News Network?
Do they watch the stuff you're in? I mean, have they seen it? Do they?
Not yet, because it takes a while to ship the DVDs to Hawaii. But,
Sure.
Of course, Blast Rider's not for everybody at first.
Yeah, that's not a family show.
I definitely want to plug Soul Eater to them and stuff. Because it seems cool enough.
I mean, I had never heard of it, but like the second day, like you guys went to New York, it was like you, Monica, Jamie, Jeremy, Todd, everybody. Yeah. Even like Travis was pulled up. He wasn't leaving, on the panel. Just like, oh, fuck, fine. But
Travis there, put him to work.
Then we got then suddenly I'm just like Micah, and I'm just, how do you guys know about him already?
When the trailer came out, everyone was just like, who the heck is that? It's Johnny Bosch. And then the skeptics are like, no, I don't think so. I think it's like, I heard some people actually, like, the list of names that people have said it was. It's kind of funny. Like, a lot of people were saying Aaron.
Unfortunately, that's a little high for Aaron.
Yes.
Now, yes.
Aaron's voice is very deep.
Well, I mean, like I said before, like big wind up, starting big wind up. It's like, how's it going? Then it's like, hey, what's up? And then the show that we were working on is like, what's going on?
What's up? How's it going?
Who wants a cigarette?
Well. And does not smoke,
No.
just so we know that. We don't want to get him grounded again.
He has to be ungrounded first.
That's true. But he's got like a laundry list of things to be grounded for that I'm sure his mom was just waiting.
I messaged him and I'm like, I love that anytime I see an update for you, it's like, Aaron Dismuke is friends with blah, blah, and 808 other people. It's like, sometimes when I love that. And he's like, I do it just for you. And then, of course, everyone commented on it. I'm like, I'm like, oh my God. But,
never, ever, ever comment on Aaron Dismuke because your inbox will explode.
How do you know him? Like, But,
Who are you?
He posted it. And it's a girl. Get her!
It's so true.
Especially with my like random like terrible comments about Aaron. Like God knows what they'll do to me.
Oh God! Yeah.
It's this bitch. Stab, cry. Why are you gonna make me do this? Sorry, but I saw that he posted an update saying like it might be my Unsolved Mysteries and Tourette's Syndrome kind of.
Oh jeez! Oh God!
No one gives a shit
about Bigfoot.
Anyways, I'm never gonna finish this fucking statement.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God, Tatum's a big Tourette's guy. Man. We'll talk about that later.
Yes, we will. No, we can't.
We're calm.
Calm. Sit in, everyone. Oh, she's giving me the mom look. I'll stop.
No, I'm not.
You're not.
Not yet. Oh.
There you are. I don't even know what that was. That wasn't the mom. That was like you're having a stroke.
I'm going blind.
I'm having a stroke.
But anyway, what I was saying, it's not even important. It's that like he was like, this might be my last week of being grounded, and I went like, you know what you did, and he's like, how do you know what I did? And like he commented immediately, and I'm like on my profile, like, how do you know what I did? I'm like, well, you told me, like, you did blah, blah. And he's like, oh, no, I already got ungrounded for that. I got grounded for something else I'll tell you about later. And then you see a couple of comments down from where I put, where you did, like, Mike's, like, quit crashing cars.
Yeah.
And then a couple comments after that is his mom going, don't count on it. Beth is hilarious. My mom and I are I actually denied her friend request. I'm like, nope.
I could never ever friend like my mom. My mom doesn't do the whole Facebook thing, but if she did, I'd be like, no, I can't do this. So.
Oh, I don't know. No Facebook for me. I mean, mom-wise. No MySpace.
Oh,
no. Nothing. No. Like I said.
I'm very lucky that my mom has not found it.
My mom's on my MySpace.
You're that generation,
Is she on your
though.
Facebook?
Oh, I'm on Facebook. Yes, because I don't use MySpace that much. It's just...
I don't use MySpace that much either. There's a couple.
Well, see, but like you and Aaron are around the same age. So, like, Aaron, of course. Well, he's just very. I think he's just very family cool like that. I'm not family cool like that. So yeah. But.
I'm cool with my family.
Well, and my family is kind of technologically challenged. Like my mother.
How do I turn this on?
Really,
I'm like, it's a PC.
It's virtually that bad sometimes. And my mother, it says something to my
we turn
family's
down the
credit that
music?
my mother is the most computer savvy of all of us, and that includes me because I am by no means very computer savvy either. But my mother, so the first time I sent her an email with an emoticon in it, she was like, "This is adorable. How do you get those little faces on there?" And I'm like, "There's a toolbar above the body of the letter or the email that you're sending that." Oh, and for weeks, every
Smiley
email
face.
had an emoticon. I was
Silly
like,
face.
okay, I'm
Nerd.
delighted that you've discovered this new thing, Mother, but please, less is more.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, it's your question.
I have a question, and this is just from Guest 43028. It just sounds like a spy, but
I know
it's one of the shadow followers.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which one, but some of them
That's how
will
they
shout
like
out,
it.
and
Mystery.
so they say shout out from the shadow followers.
Yay.
And I give a shout out.
followers are awesome.
Right, yes, they are. I love the shadow followers. You have no
I want to
idea.
make like a joke here, but I won't. Not about them, but about you.
Well, yeah, of course, about me, because I'm
They're
easier
cool.
to joke
That's how it
about.
works.
They're really cool, but they're so misguided.
Dude, like it seems like I'm over any time that they're delivering a package because it's like package here. I'm like, my God.
Have you seen me open those things? I get like a kid at Christmas, I'm like, oh my God, this is so I don't open stuff in front of people anymore because I get all teary-eyed and I get like, oh my God, and you can't. Like the first time I
Like,
ever
so
opened
I
a
have a
package
session
from them.
tomorrow that I have to cancel because I can't hear.
Because yeah, Michael's weeping got to that pitch that just destroyed my eardrum. My eardrums burst. I'm like,
Anyways, what
but
the
they
shadow
find
bottles?
us very entertaining. So and to be on topic, they say, Micah, what is your dream role? Like, what would you love to be a part of? And I guess like, to sort of add to their question, it doesn't have to be something that exists, but like, have you read a book that you would love to see made into an anime and their character that you love to play, or something along those lines? Anything?
Yeah.
Pop up?
Well, there is actually, not to mention a book that I wish, I could be a part of, like some sort of audio drama, or if it got turned into an anime. It's called The Ghost in the Tokaido Inn. And it's really interesting about, like, it's this mystery solving thing, this judge, Japanese judge, samurai guy, who's a detective and, solves these crimes and stuff. And I thought it was really cool. But other than that,
I've never heard of it before.
it's a
Is it new? I mean, is
no,
it fairly
it's like a youth sort of level.
Oh, okay.
Level, young adult. But other than that, probably I'd like to do something, like in the comic sort of realm, like Marvel, DC, Transformers kind of thing.
Yeah. Is there a character you'd like to play from that universe?
No, it's just if I could be a background character, I'd be stoked. But
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm just like, call me in. They're like, yeah, but it's something like, I don't care.
But in your
Yeah.
wildest dreams, given the opportunity.
Yeah, in your wildest dreams, I don't think you're a backup character.
Yeah. What would you, if you
Sure.
had the chance, what character would you love to be able to
Anything.
to play? Anything. Dare to dream.
You,
Dare to
Tatum?
dream.
Tatum, since you're forcing my character.
I have an answer for this question. Actually, there's a book by Virginia Woolf called Orlando. It's actually been made into a very fine film back in the late 90s. I love the book. The book, to sort of sum it up, deals with an immortal who starts life as a young boy in Elizabethan England, and for some reason, what's going on over there? And for which reasons which are never specified, he grows to manhood, and it never ages though. Like he never gets old. And about halfway through. Halfway through the book, at a turning point in history, I think when Byzantium fell or something, or no, it's not that. That would have been too long. I can't remember now. But he wakes up to find that he's a woman and spends the modern era, what we come to think of as the modern era, everything after the Renaissance, as a man or as a woman rather. And I would love to play one of those two incarnations of that character because I've always been fascinated by characters that that I get to play part of, but the character is so epic that several actors or actresses have to play the character, and I love being part of a line of.
You're gonna be like Doctor
people.
Who.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by those kinds of shows, those kinds of scripts, because everyone, you bring your own personality
It's a
to
really
it, but
cool
you have
thing.
to.
I mean, I've always thought about stuff like that, but it's so stupid. I can't believe I'm admitting this, but why not? It's our show. Why the fuck not? But the reason I got into voice acting is because of Alien. The movie Alien. My favorite actress of all time is Sigourney Weaver. And I really wanted to be Ripley. Which is so funny that that's my cat's name.
You would make a good Ripley. If I were in space, I would be on your team.
Well, dude, like, that's why I was the goosh is from Aliens. Get away from her, you bitch!
I thought that was just me telling you to get away from your cat.
No, I don't know why I love those movies. I've got all four. I'm just obsessed with, like, space. I don't know why. Like, if I could just be in, I don't care how low budget it is, if I could just be the captain of my own spaceship, that'd be sweet.
You would make a great captain in real life. You would make a great captain of a spaceship. Are you kidding me?
Or that, or to be blown away in an explosion in slow motion. That's what I want. Just no.
And be replaced by CG.
Yeah, totally. And just be like, yeah, that's totally me. So. All right, speaking of me being a geek, this is kind of a Benjamin Oscar Rick Cole combo. So like,
that's right. They both kind of asked the same.
Silly Pants McRick. There you go.
Silly Pants McRick.
Yeah, I've
For a limited
combined them
time
now.
only.
Get it before it's gone. I want a McFlurry, but all right. Okay, and I think this is for all of us, but we're going to start with you, Micah.
Oh dear.
Because stop shaking. What do you geek out about? What's the geekiest thing you've ever done? Something geek related.
I guess anime would be a good.
Really?
But like, I guess music. Whenever I find out like one of my favorite artists is like collabing or being featured, and it's like, oh my gosh! Or if I can pick out instruments in a song and pick out the levels and be like, I didn't notice that backing beat that really does compliment it. It's like, oh my gosh! I start rambling on top, and she's like, But yeah, cool. Just think like that. Or snow. Snow.
Snow.
Snow.
Yes.
No, that's an interesting. Why snow?
Because
I have to ask.
I've never seen snow until this year. Well, no.
Out
Technically,
of
no.
all the places to see it that you would think, your first experience of snow would be in
I did
Texas.
see it in Washington. I did see it in Washington, but it was the first time I actually got to run out in the snow and be like, oh my gosh, snow, pick it up and throw it on the ground.
This is what it looks like.
Yes, and experience what it feels like to have snow on me and stuff. It was crazy. I didn't expect it in Texas, because it's like, what the heck?
Nobody did.
It's like desert. Why?
But see, I'm just like, whatever. And Steven's it was also on Steven's birthday, so he's like, I don't have to work today and I get snow. This is the best birthday present ever.
And then tree limbs start falling down and taking out power lines with them. I'm like, okay, this sucks.
And
This
Joshua
really
almost got like
sucks.
stranded a block away from home.
Oh yeah, because he's in that little car of his, and he was like, I almost drowned in snow in my car. I'm like,
That's
well,
you, Tatum. I mean, I could answer this, but geek.
what do I geek over?
Everything. Classical music, obviously.
Total geek over classical music.
Well, classical
Absolutely
music.
geek over.
And I'd say particularly if you're going to pick an instrument, piano, which are fantastic. You let me hear you, so I feel very, very cool.
I don't let a lot of people hear me play. Actually,
you play.
I'm very, very self-conscious. Yeah, I'm classically trained. Actually, I went to a conservatory. I started playing when I was 6, and took composition and everything. And I write music as well. Like I'd love to. Yeah, I love to.
I'm
This is
geeking out
something
right
I do.
now because I love meeting like musicians, and I didn't know you were a musician. Oh my god!
Yeah, I was. That was kind of what decided me that I came to this crossroads when I was young of wanting to be either an actor. Younger than I am now, whatever. Back in the day, before internet and iPod and cars with seatbelts. I don't know what am I doing. Cars in general, before horses even. We rode around on dinosaurs. I don't know. But when I was younger, I kind of had a choice to make as to how I wanted to sort of continue my higher education. I either wanted to be a recital pianist / composer or an actor, and I kind of had to have a long, nice sit down, come into sort of God meeting, if you like, with myself about what I wanted to do, and I chose music because it's been a part of me for so long. I can't even. I think in music, if that makes any sense. It's just so much a part of me that I don't even. It's hard to describe. And so I went to conservatory. I went to a piano pedagogy school and learned it and all this and summarily dropped out because I think I loved it too much and I put so much pressure on myself to succeed that I just...
That makes sense, though.
I did. I ran from it, and then my life followed a different path. And plus, there was a lot of factors. I mean, unfortunately, being, the sort of age I live in, and I guess everyone can say this about themselves or something that they're into, but I always feel kind of like the odd man out for being into it the way I am because it's not a genre of music that a lot of people listen to. Yeah. It's just not, for whatever reason. There's a lot of other music out there that's great that I also like, but classical, I'm absolute nut over. It's obsessive and it's crazy. I mean, like I have this huge collection. I know pieces. Taught myself all sorts of things, and I've written piano sonatas and have been working on a symphony for the past 4 years.
That anime show theme song.
Yeah, now doing that, trying to write a theme song for that anime show, which is hard because I'm so no, it's not done yet. It's got to be perfect.
What's so funny is whenever I go over to your place and Joshua answers the door because you haven't heard the doorbell ring, and you're still playing, and all we see is the back of your head, and you're very just your head's all over the place, and we're like Tatum, and you're all watch out, it's you.
I do. It's kind of. I guess it's hard to. That's my place. And I sit at the piano when I get into it. I lose all track of where I am or who's here, whatever. And so John will be like,
"Oh, you guys are early." I'm like, "No, you said 8." You're like, "Yeah,
but I'm not done with this yet."
On my time, early.
Yeah. But in music time. Yeah, but that's me. That's my big
Cool.
big geek out is that. Mm-hmm. And yours, I know you geek out over
Zombies.
Zombies is a big miss. You do.
You think? Yeah. Funny. I'd say that more than anything else. I don't know. It's Night of the Living Dead was just. It's a really funky thing. People and I've broken up with or not gone on second dates with because they're like, oh, horror movies. No, I'm just
this is not going to work.
Okay,
out.
I just said I'm really into them. If you're not into them, that's fine. You don't have to fucking diss what I said. I just like dick.
I've done the same thing with people that don't like music. They're like, oh, it's so boring. It all sounds the same. Okay, we'll go check, please. I've had those dates where I'm like, no.
But the first time I met Romero, I totally lost my shit. I say the first time, I met him again. But my first Christmas with Steven, he got me tickets to a very exclusive mixer with nothing but B-movie people and actual horror. Tom Savini was there.
Nice.
And it was just you just drink and you eat. You're not allowed to ask him for an autograph, but you can chill with him. And so he didn't. I mean, he just did that. That was our first Christmas together. I'm like, you don't even know how much this means to me. But the first movie I ever saw was horror movie. I wasn't allowed to watch horror movies until I became a latchkey kid when my parents divorced. So my parents were never home, and our babysitter owned a video store. So she would give me Hellraiser, but it would be covered in Wizard of Oz, that kind of
stuff. That is awesome. You had an inside informant.
Definitely.
That is brilliant.
Met Doug Bradley, but the big one was Romero. I waited an hour.
Oof.
Just to get close enough.
You had me at.
And thank God I met him before Land of the Dead. But that's how. Okay, is it obvious that I'm that big of a geek? But I've even got the zombie girl tattoo and stuff like that. But it's I got up to him and I just want to say, and he's 6'7". You're the reason I got into this industry, and he's like, oh, wow, I feel like I should apologize to you. And I'm just you're insane. I love you. But, no, I don't know. There's something about zombie movies, because out of all the, the things, I look at it, and I've made very little, shorts and stuff like that about zombieism, and I take it very seriously to the point where I can watch it and, but I will always look at the realistic aspects of it, and I study human anatomy because of it, where, I was on a date with somebody, and I went, she's a zombie, like that, and he went, how do you know? And I went, because her blood's coagulated. And he went like, what the hell does that mean? I'm like, that doesn't happen unless you're dead. Duh. Like that. Like that. Like, I'm a total geek about that.
I am when the zombie apocalypse comes. I am holding up over here.
I've heard it several times. So, I mean, it's fine.
I will.
We're stocked up. You have no idea. Like, if you were really, like, house sitting for us and you just look through a few cabinets, you're like, what the hell is this? It's astronaut food and all that stuff. Hand-to-hand weapons, nothing that has to be reloaded or anything like that. And
So you don't have to reload a bat.
no, don't have to. Nope. Again, zombies from kind. But yeah, so I guess that would be the easy one. But I mean, we can geek out about so many other things.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm a geek by personality. That's just kind of who I am. But getting back to the music thing real quick, I was going to ask you: do you play an instrument? Do you have?
Yeah.
Are you teaching yourself to play anything?
I was in band playing percussion and I hated it. But I ended up playing the drums at my church on the worship team, and then I taught myself how to play guitar.
Neat.
So,
Wow.
Acoustic or
acoustic, because I can't afford an electric. But yeah,
I still got the.
I like the sound better though. It's like there's something about the acoustic sound that somehow when you're like in a closet, it just has this nice, pleasant sort of.
It's a more intimate sounding instrument.
Yeah,
it's
you
one
can
of those,
feel it rather than you have something blaring out of a speaker at you, where it's like.
It's an instrument you cannot fake on.
Yes.
That's one thing, because there isn't any. Yeah, there's no.
You
There's
get
no
your pure
cover
sound.
up. Yeah, you get a very pure sound. It's the difference. The first time I ever sat down to play a harpsichord. By the way, which I love the sound of a harpsichord, but it's absolutely a solo instrument. You can't play it in an ensemble with anything because it's so tiny.
Out.
It stands out, and it's so overwhelmed by other instruments. But I got to play in a harpsichord once, a few times actually, and I learned a very quick thing. Because the thing about a harpsichord is the big innovation. Pianos. Sorry for a minute while I geek out about music, but the reason pianos were such an innovation is because you could play loudly or softly, depending on how you fingered the key.
Yeah.
Harpsichord doesn't matter how hard or soft you hit the key.
Doesn't.
It's a plucking mechanism, so the sound is always going to have the same uniform loudness. That's where the word piano comes from. Pianoforte means soft or loud.
Yes.
And it just shortened to piano because people got tired of saying the whole thing. But harpsichord's an instrument it's one you cannot cheat on. With a piano, there's if you know how to do good pedal work, you can get through some really muddy passages by just faking it. But on a harpsichord you can't, because there's no sustain, it's just absolute clarity. And I love it. I actually want to build myself a harpsichord. I found a kit online.
Probably be very, very
I don't know where the
doable.
hell I'd put one, but I could do it. I know I could totally do it. I've been tuning pianos since I was 4.
We should do like a music compilation thing. Not that I would say that I'm awesome, but at the bass. It's the only thing I play. Bass. Yes. I don't know. There's something about.
I've never really got to hear you play bass.
No one has. No one has. Well, like we tinkered with it because my nails are long right now. Yeah. But like it got to the point where, I bought one at random when I was still working at a music instrument retailer. Ooh. I will say that schmishmar. But
have you ever tried stand up? Or just regular bass?
No, not stand-up. I like from a recording aspect, because I am very, very, very spoiled in that aspect by Steven. I don't like the sound whenever it's recorded, because no matter what, I still get slapback. Which bothers the crap out of me. But no, just a standard 4-string, double cutaway Dan Electro. It's in the studio, yes. And Steven also plays the bass as well as, he loves electronic music.
Oh, electronic.
All that stuff. So speaking of the art world and all that loveliness, I've noticed you do a lot of artwork, yes?
Oh yeah, freelance.
Have you posted any of it? People are curious.
Yeah, well, that's kind of something that I've felt like I want to keep separate since. I don't know, for some reason I want to keep my acting and my artwork separate, so people who can appreciate my art without having the whole thing that you're a voice actor can enjoy it.
They're attracted to it for its own sake, not for your celebrity as a voice actor.
That they wouldn't, but I mean, it seems more appropriate to me to do so. So, I mean, if you end up finding my account, then, but or any of my work, but yeah.
Well, let me add to that question then,
Okay.
and just to sort of ask you what you're coming across now as a very, very sort of a Renaissance guy.
No, well, I mean, I took art and I found that I'm not very good at painting, and it annoys me. But I do like sketching, And I tend to go, since I'm an anime fan, to do comics and I'm working on a game right now. So I'm really stoked about it.
That's awesome. I'd like to see some of your stuff at some point.
Perhaps.
Now, do draw something now. Here, it's sheet of paper. Let's see. What do we want to do? This question.
Bring it.
This comes from Kaji. Says we're not going to sing.
We're not going to sing.
We're not going to sing. Sorry, love. But Kaji asks, I'm going to prom soon. I was wondering if you guys could share your prom stories with us. And we were talking about this earlier.
Well, I went with 7 girls wearing a pink tux.
You pulled
and a
up
mustache and pierced my ear.
with the sedan chair.
Gave them, just called them Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday never spoke, and all that shit.
And, we didn't have a limo. We just, since it's Hawaii, just rode up on a dolphin and...
the pink dolphin.
The pink dolphin.
Fuck yeah.
Pink dolphin, the
the one that you
expensive
see in
one.
the coloring books.
Yeah.
Amazingly accurate.
Yeah, but since Hawaii.
No, keep going. This is great.
What happened, and I just don't know the punch.
And I single-handedly saved the island.
But did you even go to prom?
No.
You missed
I was
nothing.
one of those, I don't really have a school
Missed
spirit.
nothing.
Yeah, no, okay, there was
That's what my
this.
friends told me.
There's this just freaking stigma with prom because, I'm sorry, it's just TV. TV gave me so many lies about high school. People hung out at their lockers. No one hung out at their lockers. The only reason you went to the locker bank was to beat the shit out of a kid. The only reason you went. Other than that, you don't go to the locker bank.
Now I know.
Then again, I went to a really ghetto fad.
Mark is like, where the hell were you? I could have used this knowledge about
Or
2
if you
years
did
ago.
go to your locker, it's because you had off heavy books and you had to switch them out.
Yeah,
but
and
no
you
one
had
ever
2
put
minutes to do it, or
pictures.
you're going to be late, and the freaking hall monitor was going to be like,
Yeah, but okay, prom, very much that same way. But I'm like, I'm not going. And my mom was like, well, I didn't go to mine. And I still regret it to this day. I'm like, well, that sounds like a personal fucking problem. My mom and I, me as a teenager, not very well mixed. But, so she made me go to mine. And I also went to my boyfriend's when I was a junior. He was a senior. I went to his. I liked his better than mine. Mine, I made my own outfit. I had just gotten into... I started, and I still do, I'm very into my Mexican heritage. I mean, I don't know much about my dad's side other than the fact that I'm English. Other than that, my dad was adopted, so I don't know much. But we had just started learning about the zoot suit rights and all that stuff, so I made a girl's zoot suit. I wore the hat and everything, and I was still dating.
made it from scratch.
Yeah, I made the pinstripe jacket. I wore a skirt with black leggings and heels and a tie shirt, fedora, full on makeup. My hair was short and blonde. I slicked it back and everything, and I wonder why people thought I was gay. But okay, I was dating someone at the time, and I also knew I looked at all these prom dresses, and I'm just like these. I'm not spending a lot. I'm not. I don't spend money
No.
I'm very, 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 very thrifty.
Very, very, very thrifty.
But so that's why I decided I'll just make it. And I had a friend help me out and all that stuff. But my boyfriend of the time, my high school sweetheart, I went to his prom, but he didn't want to go to mine. He was just kind of we went to one. Why are you going? I'm like, because my mom is making me go. But this girl that I had this big oh, we're friends, but we're not friends. I fucking hate you. But it got to that point. She called me 2 hours before prom, and I was just going to drive there in my truck. Because why rent a limo? There's all this stigma. You have to rent a limo. I'm like, I'm not spending thousands of dollars on this event. And I'm so glad I didn't. But she called me 2 hours, and she's like, hey, I don't have a ride. I'm like, what the hell? She's like, yeah, my ride fell through. And I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? She's like, just give me a ride. I know Jason's not going, so I know you have room in your truck. And I'm like, no. It's just like, oh, you're really going to do this to me? And I'm like, damn it. No, I can't, because it's just so shitty. And we're all friends with the same people, so I'm just going to get bitched at the whole night. And I still did, even though I took her. But,
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
all 4 years of high school, they're like, Terry's gay, and I'm like, fine, think I'm gay, but like, I'm not. Like, you can think that, and you have probably a lot of good reasons to think it, but I'm not. And it got to the point where, like, we're walking into prom, and they say, they're like, Sarah, who's your date? She's like, oh, Terry's my date. I'm like, you bitch. And not to mention, okay, to remind you, I'm wearing a zoot suit.
So you look like Annie Lennox.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
And so on top of that, yeah. And then the whole night we were arguing like a couple. She's like, oh, this rum cake tastes like real rum. I'm like, it does not taste like real rum. She's like, no, taste it. I'm like, I'm tasting it. You are fucking crazy. All this stuff. And it got to the point where I'm apologizing for her like the old like husband. I'm like, I'm so
Please
sorry.
excuse my wife.
Sorry. But yeah, that was my prom experience. And, at the end of the night, it was just like, thank God I never have to do this again. Ever.
Oh, well, that's... Wow. And mine, I had...
Go prom.
I hated high school with a passion. I despised it. I graduated early. And because I despised it, I worked very hard to get out of there as soon as I could. I hated it. It was a white-knuckle ride through hell. And everything about it. People... I have come to always now distrust adults who tell you that, no, dude, these will be some of the happiest times of your life. Bullshit. If you can honestly look back.
What is wrong with your life?
If you can look back on high school and that's the pinnacle, oh no, you fucked up. You made some wrong decisions in your life.
Thank you. I
Because
agree.
I'm like, I think the whole point of high school is just to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Like, it is the cocoon from whence you emerge, and only after you're far away from it do you get butterfly wings. But I mean, I hated it. But I went to prom because at the time I had dated this girl for a few weeks. This girl
You
and
dated a couple of hotties from pictures.
I did. Well, okay, but I have to say this particular girl was not one of those. I mean, she was. I mean, that sounds so mean.
I'm not touching that one.
But I mean, she and I were really good friends and had been for a while, and everyone's like, y'all should be dating. And I was still going through this phase where like, yeah, I should totally date chicks. I should totally date chicks because maybe I'll find that one. And which is not how it works. But
you are no longer gay. Wow, I'm not gay anymore.
I'm not. Holy shit, it is a choice. But anyway, so and then she's a good friend of mine, and we stayed kind of good friends even afterwards, I guess, even after we went through some rocky times. But we decided, well, what the hell, we should date. We're like best friends. And we started dating,
that was your criteria.
And that was totally it was kind of like, well, it was. I felt like
Why
I
not?
needed to
We're
keep up
friends.
with her. Why not? We're friends. I was a friend whore. But yeah, so we dated for all of like 2 weeks, and during that time made arrangements to go to prom together because you had to make all the you had to rent everything and get all the stuff in place months before prom.
Yeah.
You had to pay for the pictures and all that for the photographer's time. It was crap. It's like it's totally a con game. It's the bait and switch. Like give us money and you'll get these pictures and stuff, and then you get there and it's like this was not at all what I paid for. This is a very dreadful time.
Put the flash on.
What do you mean? Oh my God! Oh, I don't want pictures of myself from this time in my life because I look the worst I've ever looked. But we, after 2 weeks of being together and making all these arrangements for prom, she and I broke up because we decided this is not working. This is not working.
If we don't break up, this will ruin our friendship.
Yeah, that was really what we came down to. It's like if we don't break up, we're gonna hate each other. And so we did. We called it quits and we stayed friends, but we didn't want to. It was kind of weird after that. We were both kind of like, hey, yeah. We weren't as good of friends after that because it's like now we had
honestly.
But our parents on both sides were still like, no, you're going to prom. You're going together to prom. We spent all this money. You're fucking going to prom. And I was like, no, I'm not going to prom. No, we've already spent this money. We can't. The deposit is, the deposit's null. We don't get that back. You're going to prom and you're going to enjoy it. And you're going to have pictures and you're going to have memories.
Against the wall.
Yeah, it's like you're going to go. You're going to have an awesome time. You're going to look back on this as some of the best times of your life. God damn it! And so,
Prom is short for promenade, and you can't promenade on the lane, can you?
so we ended up getting the prom. And the funniest thing is I can look back at these fucking prom pictures we took, both the pictures the family took.
Miserable.
And we look like the farmer and his wife from that old print. You know, we're like
American Gothic.
Yeah, American Gothic. We're like, take the fucking picture. Take the fucking picture. And we didn't dance
Are you
at all.
drawing the thing?
We had, like, what is this? Is this a watercolor station? What the fuck? And the only thing we could do, we could fake gamble all night because we had it at this place, South Fork Ranch, which is where they filmed
Isn't that,
the
like, after
exterior
prom?
of. Huh?
That's after.
That's what was at our prom. It was during. You could dance, and it was like this whole. It was like a set up like a little pavilion where you could do this or this or this, and you just make the rounds like Six Flags or something. And it was so. I had such a horrible time at that prom, bored to tears. You know, in this itchy tux that I hated or had grown to hate by the end of the night. That the next year, and it was like, oh my god, senior prom. We have to go to senior prom. I'm like, no.
No.
And I didn't go to senior prom. And I'd actually graduated before prom that year, so I had an excuse.
Good
I
for
was
you.
like,
I went all out for my boyfriends. Okay, I was blonde for the longest time, which is hilarious. But I Monroe'd out. I had I was all gold. My hair was gold, my eyeshadow was gold, my dress was gold, my shoes were gold, my shawl was gold. And the only way my boyfriend...
I'm sensing a theme here.
Gold!
Golden!
But what really pissed me off, though, is I was popular, which I was very happy about. Because I was fat for the first 2 years of school. And then I got popular because she might be gay. And she lost some weight, and she does the announcements. I was a shoo-in for prom queen, damn it. And they based the prom nominees on the honor society. I'm like, this is bullshit. These fucking eggheads get nominated because they're smart. I'm popular, damn it. And now I'm just like, God, that was a douche. But I won Sweetheart Classic Queen, so there's that.
So I guess to answer this question, I guess our advice is
Good
don't
luck.
go. Or if you do, for God's sake, don't think that this is as good as it gets.
Well, see, my
Because
dad-
it's not.
My dad was forced to go, because he had dated this chick for he told me this story, he didn't want to go either. I'm like, then why do we go?
It's just because
But
it's,
and he was like, your mom wanted you to go. I did not care. But I also helped her pay for it. That's probably why she wanted you to go, is she started spending money. But it got to the point where he had dated this chick for a week, and then they're like, oh, well, prom's coming up, and they went ahead and bought all that stuff, and he's like, I'm pretty sure she's a hoe. And she hooked up with his best friend that night. After his parents spent all this money, he's like, why did we come here? Prom! But no, prom, I think if you go with a bunch of friends and don't have really high expectations of the night, because we're talking about just our dates. The place, it was in the Dallas World Trade Center, for us, it's always there every year. We have to do breathalyzer, we have to go through a breathalyzer going in, a breathalyzer going out. Which was weird.
It's like going to the airport.
Yeah, but I almost didn't pass just because of my lip gloss. Because of my breath. And then that, I'm like, no, I promise you. Why would I drink and come here? Wherever I was drinking, why wouldn't I just stay there?
This is a step up from anything.
And I'm like, and I quit drinking. They're like, you're 17. I'm like, that is beyond the point.
Which is why I quit drinking. I'm too old for it now.
But no, there were some people that were like, oh my God, this is great. I'm like, well, why was it so great? They're like, because I just went with a bunch of friends. Didn't really, we never really heard of prom. A lot of my friends were from India, and they're just like, we're just having fun. I'm like, see?
It's like, why didn't I do that?
Saved by the Bell ruined me and all that stuff. But yeah, no. So have fun, but don't go into it
Just don't take it too seriously, and don't think that, anything
TV
you can do
lies.
TV
TV
lies.
lies.
High school is bullshit. High school, let me repeat that. High school is bullshit.
That was underlined, by the way.
Your permanent record does not exist.
Permanent record doesn't
It
exist.
stays in a filing cabinet in your high school.
Sarah, who was my date, she got her diploma and ran to the librarians. Remember how you said, if I have book fees, I can't get my diploma? I owe $8 fucking. Bam! Like that. And just showcased her diploma. She's like, ooh, yeah. But
And
high school is
it is kind of gratifying that all the people I went to high school with that I couldn't stand, like because I was not by any means a popular kid. I was, the school I went to was a little kind of on the redneck side, you know.
Ew.
And yeah, woo, and kind of.
No, not woo.
Yeehaw! But I did not have a good time. That was terrible. What am I doing? What happened to me? What's going on? What's happening to my life? Oh God! But yeah, it's funny that most of the people that were really popular or that tried really hard to do everything right in high school, like they were on the varsity teams and they did this and they were in choir and they always the really popular people have stayed in that town.
That's what
and have nothing. Like it's sad. Like they're really the best times in their lives.
It's interesting because I wasn't very popular. I was just neutral. I was like, you know of me, but you don't. It's like whatever. He's just some kid that hangs out with a group of kids over there. But I mean, like
some kid.
But now it's like you have the popular kids who are just like I moved back from college and that's it. And then other people who are just like you didn't hear of them. It's like, what's he doing at a premiere at a movie? All dressed up with a date. What? But yeah.
Well, see, I don't know. That's the funny thing about Facebook too, is you're finding people. Yes, I mentioned I was popular, and most of it, yes, jokingly, I was, but for the worst reasons.
But you were the wild child.
For the worst reasons.
You were not
so it's every week, I had a different hair color, and because drama kids were the ones that got chosen to do the announcements every year. That's the only reason I got to do the announcements is because I was also nominated that day as being the drama club president. I was all about drama and choir. And that somehow got me on, and that's the only reason we got to do that stuff. And me and my friend Emmanuel, who was fantastic, I mean, and kind of like I say ghetto, it was very, very messed up the way security guards favored their friends' kids compared to like me and Emmanuel, who was my co-announcer. He's very much just, coming to the realization, sitting me down. He's like, Terri, I'm gay. And I'm just like, I know. And he's like, what do you mean you know? I'm like, I have known since the 7th grade. And he's just like, what? Like how? And I'm just like, because you like men? That's being gay, I'm pretty sure.
But, I mean, that's not, you don't know. You don't know.
But, because he did the announcements, people remembered Emmanuel Castro, and we had a gay homecoming king. That was fucking awesome.
So that never would have happened.
Well, everyone was super pissed, and then,
Oh my God, he shouldn't be king.
Yeah. Because he's gay, he's like, well, I'm gay, and I've got a crown, bitches.
Just because he's gay doesn't mean he can't handle the responsibilities of office.
Because, once you get nominated, yeah.
You've got the weight of the world on your shoulders when you become homecoming.
What will I do with my monarchy?
Your life is no longer your own. You have subjects to answer to. Oh my God, we must build upon our Armada so we can attack Allen High. Or what do we do?
This way to Seguin. Dun, 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 dun.
We must start colonizing the junior and middle schools.
I don't know. High school was fun and all, but I always thought you have this because your parents put not only television, but your parents put it on you because they start glorifying what they went through forgetting all the crap that they did. My mom was like, I never went to my prom and I, regretted it. And well, there's probably a reason you didn't go. So
you probably would have regretted it more if you did go.
Yeah.
I regretted having gone more than I should have just stayed at home.
I could have saved a few bucks, rent a movie, buy pizza.
I have no regrets.
Yeah. See, there you go.
See, this is why Micah's better than us.
Micah's better. He's got it all figured out. He's got it all figured out.
So, then let me see. I guess we should go ahead and start wrapping this up.
Yeah, I suppose we can wrap this up. It's been a nice chat.
Yes, hopefully we've let you talk. But I'm so happy that you could do this because I know I just started randomly bugging you. I'm like, you should do this.
Well, I'm glad you invited me. I had a lot of fun, and it's cool to hang out with people.
Definitely. We'll make it, a night where there are mics in our face sometime. Or maybe so. I don't know.
Don't touch it. Don't play. No.
Pop screens.
Steven will pop out of here and be like, They're beating you.
Touching the mic.
Get off the
That's the
mic.
first thing that I learned in Funimation. Don't touch the mic. I was working with Chubbs.
Don't touch the mic.
And Tyler's like, he touches it and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to go in there. And he tries to open the door, but Tyler's like pushing it.
Steven's very much that way. It's like, yeah, so this actor just comes in and takes off the pop filter, motherfucker. And Joel is like, calm the fuck down. He's like, you calm down. I've seen anyone touching your
If I'm in the booth and
scripts.
Steven's in charge, because that's the thing. What's the phrase from Apocalypse Now when you're dealing with, like, that I use all the time when dealing with engineers? It's like, hey, it may have been my mission, but it sure as fuck was his boat. That's kind of every engineer is like, this is my boat, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And
So much
even
love
I'm in the
for
booth with
engineers,
Steven.
yeah.
If I even move an inch, I'm like, Steven, I'm going to move to the right. Is that cool with you? And he'd be like, no. Or, yeah, sure, it's fine. But I ask Steven before I do anything in that booth.
Like, you're a little off mic. I was getting some water.
Don't get water. I can hear it.
But be perfect.
Stop breathing.
Stop breathing. I can hear your nose.
Well, hopefully all of you out there in listening land enjoyed the show. I'm so happy that Micah got to do
Well, we're
this.
very, very. It's quite. It is quite an honor. It has
Thank
been
you,
quite
guys.
an honor not only to kind of see you.
Get you in here before you get too big.
You know, yeah. I can say we knew you before you were cool. I'm kidding.
What?
We didn't. You were always cool. No, you were cool from the moment we saw you. You were cool long
Tatum,
before I met
thank
you.
you.
Oh, as he goes for the sword.
Literally.
But no, I will say it has been a real pleasure to see someone as talented and as nice as you are, because you're a nice guy. You're very sweet. This hasn't gone to your head yet. I hope it doesn't ever.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened.
Those plebeians, but no, it's great to see.
Don't
It's
look up
great to
Tatum.
see someone as talented and nice as you are, kind of on this sort of meteoric rise to fame and in doing what he wanted to do and taking such a huge risk.
Yes, and we
and coming into
personally
it.
know that people will be hearing a lot more from you,
will
and
be hearing a lot
as well
more
as
from you.
other shows, because I know that Soul Eater and Blast Fighter are just the beginning.
Yes.
Oh, just the beginning.
I hope so.
All right. So with that being said, I'm going to say later, peoples.
And I will say later, peoples, as well.
And I will say farewell, just to be different.
Cool.
God, it was be driven.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.
See ya.
Bye.